Hello, how are you today? Let's wait for an answer. When it's forthcoming, let's continue. Okay, welcome back. I had made another video this morning, which was going to be the next in my series. However, my daughter was in a silly mood and was here with me, so it got me off track a little bit. And I don't need help getting off track because I can do that well enough on my own. So let's start again. All right. I may be snacking as we go through this, and I apologize ahead of time for that. It's not a mukbang video. It's not an ASMR video because I'm not, doing whispering and all that nonsense. I don't see the appeal in those things. I don't know, like people eating, and you hear, just the chewing, like the mukbangs, like they don't even take like normal bites. It's just like they eat a slice of pizza in two bites. Why? So like they have no room in their mouth to chew. You get all the disgusting sounds. I don't know. It's not for me. So if you like it, more power to you. Go for it. But to me, it's disgusting hearing people eat. It's always taught chew with your mouth closed, and you'll see if it holds true as I chew. I'll try not to, but I don't know. Got these pretzel crackers. I like them. I have pretzels. But anyway, I'm getting off in tangents already. See what I mean? Even without my daughter, I get distracted so easy. But that's me. I'll get you from Newark, New Jersey to New York, New York by way of Sacramento, California. May not be the most efficient route, but see some cool things along the way. Hopefully. Anyway, so where were we? Born in 1972. Well, the very last day of 1972. So I just snuck in there, right before the timer went off, before the ball dropped on 73. So the world back then was a very different place. Let's start with technology because technology has become such a big part of everyday life. The technology in 1972 was very different from today. Today we're seeing electric cars becoming more prevalent. Seeing them more and more often, whether it's a Tesla or a Chevy Bolt or, one of the other ones. I don't remember all the names, but back then they're all gas-powered cars. And you still had lead in your gasoline. So you had leaded gasoline. You also had unleaded, but a lot of cars ran unleaded, which wasn't a good thing, which is why they got rid of it. So, yeah. And I'm trying to remember. I don't think the seatbelt laws were mandatory yet. Because a lot of people drove with no seatbelts. For a while there, prior to me being born, some cars weren't even made with seatbelts in them. But as it became law, then they had to. A lot of cars had bench seats in the front. You didn't have your bucket seats. It was just one long bench seat. So if your mom went around the corner, you would slide on that seat. It's just like, woo, whoosh. As she's turning, you're going back and forth. So, let's see, I don't want to go too far down a rabbit hole in cars, because we used to do things like ride in the back of pickup trucks. Station wagons were a big thing. You had the rear-facing seat in the back. But we didn't have electronics to keep us occupied on a road trip. No, we did not. We had the radio, whether it was in satellite radio, it was just analog radio. Whatever came in. And, as far as like music formats, Eight tracks were still a thing, you know. Um, Cassettes were coming in. Um, I don't know the cassette. I know the cassettes came in as I was getting older, but it was eight tracks. You know, I have memories of eight tracks. Um, Obviously, albums like LPs. You had the small 45s. Now, as far as like in the home, you had your house phone, but cell phones. Nope. You had pay phones out um, on the streets. Most of those are gone now, but so if you're out and about and you needed to call home, you called the payphone and you called your home phone and you had that number memorized because you didn't have basically a computer, smartphone in the palm of your hand with all your numbers stored in. They made tech companies made things easy on us these days, so easy that like we don't remember numbers. Like I still remember my home phone number from when I was a kid. We don't have this anymore, so I don't feel bad saying it, but 610-588-7394. That was my home phone number. I don't know who has it now. Please don't call them. um, so you had the home phone, and it was attached to the wall. If you're lucky, you had a long cord, so you could kind of walk around with it, maybe the full length of your kitchen. TVs. We didn't have satellite. We didn't have cable. I mean, cable came, I don't know if I remember correctly, cable was more prevalent than satellite in the beginning. When satellite first came out, you had huge, big satellite dishes, like you'd see at NORAD or something. Nowadays, you got those little satellite dishes on the top of your house. But, we didn't have internet in the home. We didn't have home computers at that time. The internet was a thing because I believe it came in about in the late 60s, mid to late 60s maybe. But it was mostly for government and use. And I think maybe between different universities. But don't hold me to that. Again, I was a baby, so if I get things wrong, don't be too harsh on me. Don't harsh my mellow, as they say. As the hippies say. Damn dirty hippies. I'm just kidding. I like to make fun of people, but I think in any group of people, you're going to find somebody that you can probably get along with. Except for maybe Nazis, but I don't know. I don't know any Nazis. Where were we? Oh yeah, TV. TV was an analog signal that you had an antenna on your roof that would, where we lived, you got maybe 3 channels that came in well from New York and Philly. Like when I mean came in well enough for you to watch. I think it was maybe 2 New York and 1 Philly, or was it vice versa? I don't remember. It's a long time ago. I just remember that was it. You didn't have these streaming services, obviously, because you didn't have internet. You had to look in a TV guide to see what was on when it was on, and if you weren't home in front of your TV watching, you missed it until the next time they showed it. If you didn't show it again, you missed it forever, at least until later. And we'll get to that in another video. But no commercial breaks. Couldn't skip it. You couldn't pause it. So if the commercial breaks were nice, or you're watching a movie, you get up, run to the bathroom, during a commercial break, come back. Get up, get a snack, come back. So yeah, about three channels that were watchable. We did have a color TV. It was the main TV. These back then you had the TVs with the tubes, so they were big honking structures. In the dining room, we're lucky enough to have another TV. This one was black and white. Black and whites were still around. Obviously, the color TVs were a little more expensive, so if you wanted a second TV, you usually opted for a black and white one. yeah, technology was just, we didn't have a lot of the stuff they have now. Yeah, no cell phones, no video game consoles. Those came out later. What we had was an arcade at the mall. At least when I was younger, in the early 70s, I don't think so much. I think that's when Pong first started appearing in arcade, maybe. Again, I was a baby, whatever. Uh, malls were still thriving. Malls thrived. Smoking was very prevalent back then. You could smoke everywhere, pretty much. Planes, trains, automobiles, in the malls. I think even in the hospitals. I don't remember. I know, through history that at one time doctors smoked in the hospitals, but I don't remember exactly when that stopped. I just remember as I got older seeing smoking get phased out of things like movie theaters, planes, all the public places first, like malls. I remember when they redid that. And I'm getting long here, long in the tooth. But yeah, it's easy trying to keep these short. I don't really get to cover too much. But I didn't snack the whole time, so you're lucky you didn't have to hear me chewing. Um, yeah, so why don't we close this here? I'll give you a little bit more stuff in the next video. Maybe go into some of the history, some of the things that were happening that time, around 72 into 73. So you get an idea of how things are going, state of the world. And yeah, we didn't really have, technology was not a big part of our lives. We had outside to play in. Had a couple hours of kids content on TV, whether you liked it or not. No. So maybe you didn't get the full 2 hours. Maybe you weren't there. But that's it. You missed it. You missed it. So you played outside. You didn't have a lot of the toys. Like the toys nowadays are pretty awesome. I wish I had a lot of those growing up, but I still had some cool stuff. Anyway, let's bring this to a close, and we'll cover some more stuff next time. Take her easy.